what if I told you that within 12 weeks you could be on the path to a high demand Salesforce career with real world experience and certifications that make you irresistible to employers? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. This is the presentation. We'll do a little Q&A afterwards, but I really want you to think about if that's possible. So just a real quick story about me. In my journey to get here today, I'm going to give you just the highlights of my career. At 21, I started selling life insurance and investments because my brothers, my two older brothers, who've always put me in harm's way, told me that was a good idea. And I just want you to imagine for a second, if you're over 42 or close to it, imagine sitting across the kitchen table with your spouse, listening to some young 21-year-old kid tell you how to achieve your financial goals and dreams. Now, I can only imagine that you might say, really? Yeah, that's what I decided to do when I was 21. However, by the time I was 23, I was promoted to regional vice president for this company. And that's an earned position that you have to sell your way to the top. So my little 21-year-old ass, over 2 years, not only figured out how to sell, but sell enough to get promoted to vice president. I had to recruit, train, develop, and sell. And I did all that in the course of 2 years. And I'm not saying that to impress you, but to impress upon you that there are limitations that we impose upon ourselves in our lives that are reasonable. There are the same limitations that everybody else seems to be limited by. And I was telling Pamela in the first version of this that while I wasn't the Roger Bannister in this company, I was one of the first people after Roger Bannister. Roger Bannister was a person who was known for, I know Pamela knows because we just said it. Do you know who Roger Bannister was, Ebony? Well, I'll put it this way. Did you know there was a time in human history for thousands of years, or since the invention of the stopwatch, or however many years that they could measure time, that it was known that it was impossible for a human being to run a distance of a mile in under 4 minutes? Did you know that there was a period of time where all the experts agreed it was impossible? It was physically incapable until one guy named Roger Bannister did it. And the week after Roger Bannister did it, it was like popcorn. Other people started doing it all over the world. Why? Because the belief system was broken. The idea was shattered by the reality. And so now people are running the mile in, like, I don't know what it is now, but it's a lot less than 4 minutes. Like 4 minutes won't even get you a scholarship. So that's my journey. So not only at 23 did I get promoted to vice president, but I also became an officer in the U.S. Army. After a year-long officer candidate school that I wish I'd done in 12 weeks, but I did a year-long officer candidate school with the Army National Guard. And as proud as I am of that accomplishment, I'm still more proud of becoming a U.S. Marine when I was 18. And I claimed the Marine Corps because, here's what I can tell you why I claimed the Marine Corps. When I was in boot camp, 2 of my fellow recruits were sergeants in the U.S. Army. But they wanted to be Marines, so they had to go to boot camp. I was a corporal in the Marines and decided I wanted free tuition in college, and the Army National Guard said, sure, come on over. You're already trained. So that tells you a lot. And the reason I became an officer was because of those low standards. I was really miserable in that group. Not only was I in the National Guard, and not only was in the Army, but I was in the National Guard. I was in the Louisiana National Guard, and I was part of a unit that was half cops and half crooks of MPs. And I just felt the standards were so low, I couldn't do it. But I couldn't leave dishonorably. There had to be a way out beyond 8 years of suffering. And then I discovered the little bit of college I had qualified me to go to officer candidate school. And the one thing I knew about being an officer is that you can resign. So I said, my way out is my way up. So I became a vice president the same year, really even the same month, I think, August of '89. I aged myself, didn't I? I'll let that out. Same month of August. And I was going to resign the day I got commissioned, but I said, you know what? Maybe give it a try. And I discovered after 4 years of being an officer and having the best two platoons, I inherited two platoons out of a company of four, that I had the best two platoons in the company because I can affect the standards. I learned that leadership is the difference that makes the difference. And I used that to build a multi-million-dollar company. I left the insurance business that same year. I'm sorry, the next year at 24, I left the insurance business. The market had changed. The company had sold. The owner of the company left and said, and trying to get my motivation, I was watching a video where he said, if the opportunity's not as good as when I started, I'll leave. And I'm like, this guy left 8 months ago. What am I still doing around? And I stumbled upon this opportunity, and I created, at 25 years old, I created a sales team that spanned 5 states and 500 active people with 1,500 that didn't do anything, all within the course of a year and a half, because there wasn't a limitation. I was the first. We were the first. My business partner, and I were the first company. We started it, and by the time we got to the 3rd state, we started seeing competition for the way we were doing something that nobody had ever done before. Because we just did what we thought we could do. That led me to starting another phone company that led me to lose my first $1 million. And in that '99, I sold my phone company and decided that the only thing I really liked about being an entrepreneur was training people. Like, of all the things an entrepreneur has to do, all the things an officer has to do, all the things a non-commissioned, like all the thing a leader has to do is train people. I said, I'm going to do that. And I started doing that professionally in 1999. And I tell you that because that's what got me started with Salesforce. I was actually a Salesforce customer for a month before I sold my company. And I thought, this is okay. It's like all the other software. But in 2005, Salesforce started showing up in the background of all these big company projects because Salesforce sells. Like, they knew how to sell more than the other cloud companies that started at that time. And they sold their way into big companies, big projects. In 2008, I did my first Salesforce project. And in 2015, I've done nothing but Salesforce projects. I became a certified Salesforce instructor in 2017. Now, I started working with a company in 2015. I got certified as an admin in 2016, but it took me a while to become a certified instructor. The only thing I did different than anybody else was, when most instructors get certified, they have to fly to San Francisco, and they normally teach the first 5 modules of the class. And then several weeks later, you get tested. They kind of pick out of the next 5 modules what they're going to test you on. And I told Andrew, I said, Andrew, can I just do all 10? I'm good. Can I just do all 10? He says, you can do all 10? I'm like, I can do all 10. Can I just do all 10? He said, sure. Because I didn't want to wait. I think that's some of the secret to why I did so many things early, because I wasn't very patient. So I didn't want to wait. He said, no one's ever done that before. I'm like, well, can I just can we just do it? Because I didn't want to wait. It didn't seem like a barrier to me. It didn't seem like a 4-minute mile, but it was like, all right, he did it, and I'm passed. I didn't have to come back 3 weeks later to cherry pick. I did the whole thing. And again, I did that because I didn't know that you couldn't. I knew that I could do it. I believed that I could do it, and I did. So I did that, and then shortly thereafter, I saw all this money that consultants were making, and I got greedy, and I said, I need to start my own company. Now, I'll tell you the real truth. I'm also a bad paperwork person. So my company that I operated under in all those years of training, I forgot to renew with the state. And I normally forget, and then every couple of years I remember to renew. And I normally forget, and then I pay the last year this year. Well, I'd gone so long that I couldn't just renew it. I had to, I was actually creating that. I would have to recreate that old name from scratch. But sales and technology consultants was more appropriate for what I was actually doing. I was trying to bridge the gap between people and technology so that companies would realize more revenue. And that's what I did. I taught people how to use technology. So I became I started my consulting practice then, and then I actually became a partner with Salesforce later the next year, 2019, because I was so excited about their new essential software that I said I should buy it for myself and see what I'm telling all my friends about, right? Because I was telling my friends with small business, like, you got to get Salesforce, $25 a month. It does so many things. It did a lot more when it first came out than when they retired it 5 years later. But I went through and they offered coaching to people when they bought this product. And I ended up teaching the coach what he was telling me throughout the coaching process, because he was reading a script and I knew Salesforce. And I thought, hey, man, you could just tell people I'll help them. He says, I can't do that unless you're a partner. So I became a partner in 2019. I went to Dreamforce and I got really excited about the possibility of the ecosystem. I was sold on the idea that Salesforce ecosystem would generate $1.2 trillion in revenue between 2019 and 2024, which it did. Even through COVID, it did. But in my journey, I discovered a problem. And the problem was every move I made to like engage the world with my brilliance and training and implementing and teaching people Salesforce and getting them started on Essentials and other Salesforce products, it seemed like Salesforce would come out with with some offer that would beat my offer. And it took a couple of years for me to figure out, oh, they heard the same message I did. They heard that there's $1.2 trillion to be had outside the boundaries of the Salesforce walls. And Salesforce started competing with their whole partner community that built them to number one company in the world. They've since acquired a couple implementation companies. They hired their own professional services. So they didn't need contract trainers like me anymore. They hired their own internal staff. There's 300 people that work on the Trailhead team, building out Trailhead. And as you notice, they've kind of gotten in the certification business. Like Salesforce certifications used to be two: admin and developer. That was all there was, because all you had was workflow rules and code to get everything done. So in 2022, I completed my last full-time contract, and I decided I didn't really like doing the consulting work. I didn't like trying to compete with Salesforce. I didn't like trying to find my own customers on my own. I found out how to do it, but it was a lot harder than I wanted to do. But I figured out how to make those things work. So I started the ACE Academy this year. And it's to help people get accredited, certified, and experienced. And I might even change the A to architect, because that seems to be what the marketplace really wants now, not admins. They really want architects. Because 2 years ago, Salesforce threw 20,000 employees out of the house into the marketplace, and all the admin jobs went away. And now if you look at most jobs, they're architect jobs. So how do you stand out? How do you become something in an ecosystem where you're new, but the bar is so high? I know Ebony's not afraid of it because she's been a Marine for a while, like E6, right? Staff sergeant, right? That's not nothing. Senior staff NCO. Put a lot of captains in their place in their time, I'm sure. Maybe even majors and whatever. Probably, we'll see. So put me in my place already. So I started the ACE Academy because I think there's something that needs to be different in the way people are trained. You can't just get certifications. You can't and get a job. You got to have experience. And Salesforce also created this whole accreditation process. And that process was for partners to get special training so that they could demonstrate a higher level of professionalism and skills to the marketplace so they could maintain their value as a partner in the ecosystem. That's what's happened in the marketplace. So for me, I said, there's got to be a way to help people do that. So I imagine being part of a community where every action moves you closer to becoming that irresistible admin, that accredited, certified, and experienced Salesforce consultant. And the problem is people get started. I hear it all the time. They say, "Oh, I want to do Salesforce stuff." I'm like, what do you want to do? And they go, "I don't admin." I'm like, "What does that mean?" They go, "I don't know. It's a certification. I could do that." Well, we don't really know what it means, right? Um, and this really came out because of somebody in our community right now who I was practicing the platform app builder class to get certified to teach that class for Salesforce, and I offered to teach it for free, and he was my only taker, and he had a certification, but he had low confidence, and I didn't know, but now that was 20 right at the end of 2020 or 2020. So 4 years ago, this person was brand new, entering the ecosystem, afraid to take on an Upwork project to write a report. He said, "What if I don't know how to do the report?" And I said, "Man, if they're asking you to do a report, you already know more about reports than they do." Like, that's how you know more than somebody else, by what they ask you to do, right? "Hey, man, can you cook me an egg?" I'm like, "Yeah." "How do you want it?" "How I give it to you?" "Yeah, because you don't know. If you can't cook an egg, you can't tell me how to cook an egg." So that person now makes well over 250,000 a year in the ecosystem. I don't want to go into all their business and how, but they've learned to leverage their time, leverage their skills, and work their way to their dream job. And I thought, well, wow, I did it one. And then a couple other people that's happened to. Now, not everybody's making that much money, but people are working the job they want to work, and they're doing the kind of work they want to do. And I still think it's possible to do that, which is why I created the ACE Consultant Academy. And today I want to just cover a little bit about, because I haven't done a formal presentation on this. I figured, you know what, I'm going to do that and make sure everybody knows the story of the ACE Academy and what we're doing here that's different. Even though it looks a lot like other communities, I think we have a different blend of things. And I hope that you bring what you want. So I'll tell you, I hope you bring your cheese doodles. And what that means is I belong to this accountability group, and we have meetings every week. We make commitments. We get expected. All that, right? It's sort of like work sometimes, right? When you work, but one of the things that people have said is that, "Oh, I don't like the team because it doesn't do this, it doesn't do that." And we just finally came up with, well, bring the cheese doodles. So if you go to a party, I'll explain it to you, right? If you go to a party and you really like cheese doodles and you really want cheese doodles, you really hope they have cheese doodles at the party. That would mean the cheese doodles would make the party awesome. What do you think you should do on your way to the party? Pick up the damn cheese doodle. That way, you're guaranteed to have what you want. When I offer to take my wife out to dinner, I always give her the choice where to go, but I never ask her to choose the restaurants. I ask her to pick one of my choices. Do you want to go here, here, or here? And I don't know if you know this or not, but that's something people in relationships say, don't tell your woman where you're going to eat, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I tell her, you pick. I've already picked three. You can't make a wrong choice. So I make it safe so she can pick safely, because there's some kind of safety thing going on in some genes. I'm like, great, pick. Right? So she said, right? So bring the cheese doodles. So the community, when you have a space that you can learn and grow and develop, is what I really wanted to create, because that's how those people that I've worked with over the years, you can go on my YouTube channel and see those live sessions we did, or just a little taste of what we did, but I want to bring something special. So let's talk about how it works and what we do. But first, I know there's a couple people on the line, and I may mute this. I probably won't mute it out. So just so some people know, and I created that image with AI built into Google Slides, so you know, and there were some really weird ones. just so you know, she's got the witch's hat on, but there was one with a Tin Man dress and creepy like anyway. So AI is just creepy. So where are you? Who are you? What's your outcome and what's your next milestone? And then what's your favorite thing you want to tell us about you? Like something that you favorite? Like what's your favorite band? What's your favorite music? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite? What's your favorite? I think I told you I live in Atlanta. Oh, I live in Tucker, Georgia. My outcome is to help people find their dream jobs with this community and that it supports me. And I ask you for money to do that, but not right now. And my next milestone is actually to get my architect certificate so I can prove that I know that junk that I already know. And then my favorite dog out of my 2 dogs is Louie. Just like don't tell Pearl because she's right here. But that's anyway, that's my favorite. Because you got to have a favorite. I don't care. Anybody's got 2 animals, you have a favorite. You got 2 kids, you know you got a favorite. You just don't admit it. So I think we have a couple people on the line right now. Would you mind introducing yourselves? You don't have to show your camera and just. Pam, you got here first. You get to decide who goes first.
Sure. I'm Pamela Duritis. I've known Don for, I don't know, well, over a year. About a year.
It seems it's not quite a year, but it seems that long, doesn't it?
Seems like that, yeah. And I've worked with him. My goal is to build my skill stack, my talent stack. I do corporate BA work, business analyst work. I have worked on Salesforce implementations as a BA without any certification. So I feel like getting certified and building that talent stack will certainly help me command higher rates, get better gigs. And I just want to have it as one tool in my toolkit. Good. And my favorite, I don't know what to say about my favorite.
What's your favorite vegan food? Because that's what you really like.
Oh gosh.
What's your favorite meat substitute?
Meat substitute? I love a good Beyond Burger. I'm not going to lie.
There you go.
I don't have them often because they're not a health food.
No, they're not.
But no. I do like a good Beyond Burger.
Nice. Very cool. Yeah. Thank you, Pamela, for letting us get to know you a little bit. What your goal is. What your next milestone is your admin certification, right?
Yeah, I haven't even started that yet.
That's okay.
But as a BA, I did start down the trail mix for a BA certification, and I think a lot of the admin modules overlap with that. So
no, very few.
Oh, they don't. Oh, that's right.
BA doesn't overlap with much. BA doesn't really overlap with much, which is
right.
Okay. We'll talk about that when we get into the classes on the.
Yeah, I forgot. You're right. You did show me all the check marks. Yeah. Well, yes, admin is my goal.
But you know what? I hope you have all 5. I just want to know your next one. So whatever you're working on, we'll support that. That's all. But that's all. So
admin.
Good. Awesome. Ebony, you want to go next?
Okay. My name is Ebony. I am in Tampa, Florida. My Salesforce outcome would be getting into the ecosystem.
A paid in or just in? You're in now.
Well, no, I'm looking for a job.
Right.
I already have 5 certificates, four certificates.
And which one did you just get? Like a boss.
Service Cloud.
What was your score, by the way?
I think I passed by 1 or 2 questions.
Whatever, you passed, right? Everybody passes with just the minimum. Nobody cares. All right, good job. But Ebony is a great student and an annoying student because she calls out all little mistakes. She asks all the questions. She's very detail oriented. None of the qualities I possess, but all the qualities that somebody that's going to hire a rock star wants in a consultant. I guarantee you, I will endorse Ebony right now because unlike my students at Maryville College who are using AI to try to bullshit me, you actually ask questions as if you're learning. It's amazing. And yes,
right.
Some of them are going to watch this video. I'm not calling out any names, but you know where you are. What's your 5th cert? Because you got admin, platform app builder, service cloud, experience cloud, right?
I have admin, business analyst, experience cloud, and service cloud.
Got it. So do you know your next one? Or do you want me to tell you your next one?
I know you want my next one to be app builder.
I do.
But I'm thinking my next one will be advanced admin.
Nope. I declined. Let me tell you why.
Why?
I taught the admin class for 4 years. And I thought, I'm good at this. I know that I could take the practice exam and get a 98%, never get 100. I failed that sucker twice. Now, it turns out that probably won't happen to you because you're going to study. I didn't study. When I studied, I passed. But the advanced admin is really designed for somebody who has actual experience. It's not the bullshit 6-month experience that they say for the admin class.
Yeah.
Right? They say you should be have that's what they're testing you on, 6 months experience. But the advanced admin is like a real deal, real world, and sales and the sales cloud and the platform app are going to support that advanced admin, but it doesn't take you to all the places the advanced goes. You can go to my YouTube channel and see me. That's where I learned to create the study guides when I was going through the advanced. And here's why I learned. Here's how I created this academy. I decided that I wasn't going to study on my own unless other people were watching me. So I invited Patrick and Chen and Amanda and Jenny to hey, I'm going to study. I want to come study with me. And then we studied online, live on YouTube. Because Pamela would say, I like to perform. So I figured if I have to perform and I have to explain what I'm studying and we talk about it together, that's how we learn. That's how this academy is really designed up. So I'm going to say, go ahead if you want to, but it would be like putting it's like having a 4-wheel drive truck, but 3 of your tires are street tires and one of them is a big fat mutter tire with a lift on one side. It's gonna seem out of balance for people who know. Some people won't know, but for me, if I was evaluating you, if I was telling your employer whether to hire you, I go like, that's a weird path. Like that's somebody who's good at getting certifications, not good at doing Salesforce. That's what I would say. I'm not the authority, right. I'm not the end all. You do you, because you're gonna take my study guide and run with it. I get it. You're gonna go through it. You're gonna study. You're gonna learn it because you'll study. All you gotta do is study. You can pass the test. But I think there'll be more practical value in getting that sales and platform app builder than advanced admin, no doubt. But that's just me.
But app builder is hard. I already failed that test.
Then go back and get it. When you fail, you know all right, we're gonna get into that in another lab. I got a lab that already explains how to fail and take the test again. We'll get to that later. Okay. So your next milestone is advanced admin because you think that's easier than platform app builder. Okay.
No, I'm gonna do platform app builder next.
Oh well, look. Listen. I'm not pressuring you, but I'm applying.
No, but that makes sense about how advanced admin is a step outside of what I'm really wanting to do. That is true. So,
if we're going to tell the story of certifications, one of my visions for this class is that we educate employers as we interview that as we interview them for jobs. We educate them on what they shouldn't be selecting on as much as what they should.
mm-hmm.
We have to tell the story of the bullshit job description and the lies on a resume and the way you can game and get a certification does not make you qualified. You need now, with AI especially, we need social and professional proof.
Mm-hmm.
I hope my vision is that we become the standard of social proof for somebody's certification and skills in Salesforce. Now, I can't do that on my own. I don't need people like you who can actually do all the dots and the I's and the T's and the hard ass shit that you did to me to get certified already. Like, right? Like that I need. I can't do. This is what community with it. So, all right. What's your favorite Marine Corps story? Or what's your favorite, whatever you want to tell us?
What's my favorite what?
What's your favorite X? Whatever you get to tell us your favorite.
Oh, okay. I
like
think
Oprah.
I'll say my favorite food is seafood.
All of them?
Actually, I'll eat almost anything. Sushi, shrimp, lobster,
Have you had cereal?
mussels.
What do they
I
call
think the only thing I
cereal?
won't eat is oysters.
Oh, come on. Now, why you missed the best one? Oh my God.
Mm-mm.
There's only one time in my life I didn't eat oysters, and that was high school biology in New Orleans, where we had to dissect one. And once I knew what was in it, it took me 2 years to get back to eating them. But I started eating oysters at 4 years old. I love me some oysters. Oysters. All right. Thank you, Ebony. And look, I'm I, I'm only saying what I'm saying out of my commitment that you succeed. You do what you want. I'll support it. But I just want you to know what I've always been shy and reserved about saying what I think. So there's that. So anyway, thank you. Anything else you want to say? All right. Thank you all for that. So we did the welcome and introductions. I'm going to answer 4 questions today. How the academy works, how you get certified, how you get accredited, and how you get experience. Fair enough? And that's going to be pretty quick. And then I'm going to make an offer at the end talking about the price that y'all aren't paying. But whoever's watching this video is going to either pay the price that I talk about or a higher price because more people have joined. And behind all of that is a commitment to a community that drives the value as much as 10 times more than what I'm charging. So let's talk about how it works. So like my journey of getting my advanced certification, I knew I needed to study with others. I knew that I operated better that way. So I just put myself out there because, again, I didn't see the barrier before. And I also know that when you can bounce, I missed after COVID and everybody went to Zoom classes for Salesforce. I mean, I really hate that we can't be in a classroom. I can look over your shoulder and go, nope, click, like point, tap, hit in the back of the head. Like, no, like those kind of instructions are gone. So it's a little tougher, but I know in my learning journey, because in that time between 99 and now, I got a degree in training. It's a master's level degree. And I say, you learn better in community. They don't train Marines alone, do they, Ebony? You need each other. And it can't just be it can't just be your Salesforce Saturday show up when they want to. So one of the things I hope to add, hope somebody's cheese doodle, is rigor. I want to add more rigor to the program. I'm building the rigor in, but I'm building it part-time. So anybody has some rigorous skills, I'm happy to play that game. But because there's, we'll talk about the path in this, but a community that's intentional about the same thing or working the same thing, that's damn near close to a team. It's not, but it's damn near close to a team. And I believe that if you work together in community, accountabilities, responsibilities, standards, all those things become part of your culture and becomes part of what helps you be better. You become a community of practice. And the cooperation is, it's not cooperating like don't be an asshole. It's operating together. That's what the learning labs are designed for. To bring in so far we're doing labs of one, right, Ebony? You and I have been doing learning labs one-on-one. Great. Those recordings eventually are going to make it to the community. So we can have 3-on-1, 5-on-1. We're operating on the same problem together so that when you're going out and getting experience, you're going to have to go out and do an Upwork profile or go talk to some businesses that you meet, however you meet them. Like it talks about, hey, you want some help and pay me some money and I'll do it. And you don't have to turn away any problem because you can bring that problem and we can operate on that problem together. And in cooperation, we solve it correctly. The client gets better value than they would get otherwise than doing it alone. And the other thing that I know is going to happen is I lost my green screen covering my expensive chair my buddy doesn't like, so I cover it now with green screen. Some of you are going to really enjoy learning how to be a great consultant by teaching other people things you're already good at. Pamela's already good at BA shit, BA stuff, BA skills, right? So she can contribute that, and you can contribute your skills, and we all pick up what the other doesn't have, and it makes us stronger together. Any questions about that? How it works? So how do you get certified? Well, here's the secret sauce. You ready? And I know I should have put some animation in there. Register for the damn exam. Schedule the exam. I know that's the scariest part, but tough shit. Book it. Yeah. But I don't know if I'm going to be ready. Yeah, I know. That's why you book it. Because ain't nothing like a deadline to make you work harder. Am I right, Evan? That's push Ebony, right? Now, you also ought to schedule it based on what your expected time commitment is. Now, I believe you can study, and Ebony, I believe you can back me on this. 2 to 3 weeks of study, you could be certified. Yes? Did you? How long? You had 3 weeks between Service Cloud? 2 or 3 weeks, not much more than that, right? Between certs, I don't know time. I have time.
No, I think it was like 3 weeks of studying, but remember I took a week off because I had to go home, so
All
I
right,
had to reset.
slacker. But if you're dedicated full time, yeah, pick 3 weeks. If you got family things, adjust for like your personal life and living. But 2 to 3 weeks, that's why I say in 12 weeks, you can have all 5 of your certs all filled out or more, depending on whatever cert you feel like you need to grab. But certs are just the start. They're not the end. Remember, the reason I got fired from Salesforce, the reason we parted ways, was because for a year and a half, I kept telling all these kids, when you get certified, you prove to the world you're a D student. Because it's a 65% pass, maybe 68. Still all Fs in my world. Where I came from, 69 was the first F. Those Catholic schools. Now, if it's part-time study effort, here's the beautiful part about this, right? 3 to 4 months, you ought to pick a time, 3 to 4 months, if you're going to study 2 hours a day. And there's something magical about 2 hours a day that I want you to consider. Because what I actually have envisioned for you, whether you know it or not, is income insurance. Which is what life insurance really is. By the way, remember I sold life insurance at 21? There's no such thing as life insurance. They don't bring back your life. What they do is they revive your income when you die and replace you as an income earner. Well, income insurance out of this academy is while you're studying, if you're also putting forth effort in doing the things that I would tell you to do to go get clients and bill them and charge them, or for somebody there's lots of different ways you'll be able to earn while you learn. If you dedicate 2 hours a day, even if you're working a full-time job, won't you be in the habit of working 2 hours a day extra? Like that'll be part of your routine, right? It's like working out. If you worked out 2 hours a day, whether you had a job or right, with a full-time job, you worked out 2 hours a day, you're going to work out no matter what job you have 2 hours a day. So if you're doing it part-time, get in the habit of working on sales 2 hours a day. Sooner or later, you're going to stop studying and start earning. And even when you get your full-time job, you'll still be able to allocate a couple hours a day for your direct clients, which should make you about anywhere from 30 to 50, 60,000 a year on the side, which I'll show you how to do when you get further down the program. Because if you do that and you lose your job, you got your own unemployment insurance. One that you know how to control, one that you know how to scale, one that makes you a victor, not a victim. So when you schedule your exam, do it based on how much time you intend to commit, and then follow the trails in the trail guides. So I created those trail guides so that all you got to do is follow the trail. Just go in order and do it the way it's already in there. I teach you how to do it. It's a 1 hour class, less than an hour, teach you how to do it all. And then you'll be an expert at learning Salesforce. And then show up for the labs. There's live sessions where we do this and answer your questions. Right? Because that's where you're going to hear other people's questions where you know the answer and contribute, and you're going to ask your questions, and someone else is going to know the answer, whether it's me or not. I don't know all the answers. I mean, I like to think that I do, but I don't. I actually do know all the answers. If I don't know the answer, I know how to ask for help. That's the answer. How do you get accredited? Well, you got to get certified. Real simple. The community that we built this on this SKOOL community, is there's a leaderboard. The more you contribute, the more you engage, the more value you bring, the more points you get. Now, look, in the beginning, I understand some people are just going to get likes because you want them to get likes. You're just going to give everybody likes. But really, that's going to change over time, or I'm just going to raise the bar. Because if you don't like something, that's good feedback for somebody who puts something out there like, oh, I didn't get any likes. Maybe I should try to change what I did. But when you get to a certain level, I'm picking that as the level 4 right now. That is, if I go to the community and I go to the leaderboards and we look, that makes you a junior consultant. That makes you actually, it's possible for you to join my company as a junior consultant and get paid on other projects that you work on, so that you can make more money because you've leveled up, but you've also gotten your certifications, some other things in there, right? You got to not be a jackass. So, you're wondering what the qualifications are. Not being a jackass is usually one of the first qualifications that they don't put on a job description. Do you have people work for you in the military? Were some of them jackasses? Did they get promoted? Sometimes, because they get.
Sometimes,
The reason jackass is promoted is because you can't fire them, so you promote them just to get them out of your space. So you can be a jackass and get promoted, but nobody likes you and you're a jackass. And if you think they talk about you behind back, you're probably right. And then to get a credit, so when you get hired by sales and technology consultants, you can then study in the partner learning camp, because I make you part of my partnership. And the reason to be a part of our partnership, because honestly, you can actually go get your own partnership from Salesforce. It used to cost $1,000 a year. Now it's free. And I think you can still get your own partnership. And there's some benefits to that, but keep yours with us. And the reason that I want you to keep it with us is not just for me, but it's for you. So remember, imagine a community of people that as we grow, we're engaging in not just our community, but we're engaging in the trailhead communities. That's a way to prospect for networks, which I'll teach you how to do as part of the Inspire method. But you also connect with like LinkedIn communities, right? And user group communities, physically where you're at, dream and events, conventions, job fairs, business networking groups. You got to do all that stuff because you got to get your people skills down, because you got to be better than other people that have the same certifications as you. So you got to be better with people. I'll teach you how to do those things. But imagine we have 1,000 people that are all part of sales and technology consultants all across the country. Do you realize we would be the largest partner Salesforce has? Okay, wait, what? Wait, yeah, remember the App Exchange? So if we all keep our certifications under sales and technology, it makes us all look good and credible. If all of us are engaging in trailhead communities with sales and technology consultants on our banner, guess what name's going to go in their head? Guess what seeds we're planting? If we're all out at convention and somebody figures out how to get a swag that all looks alike, and we're all 50, 60, 100 of us, what Talent Stacker does. GSD, who got bought by Salesforce, no less. That company that I came from at 23 to be a regional vice president is a multi-level marketing company. They're known as Primerica Financial Services. They have 100,000 sales reps, licensed agents. They're the largest financial service company in the world. And they do more business than all the big companies you never heard. You may have never heard of, because it's all word of mouth. But let me tell you something. They make an impact when they do it, because there's millions of them, or 100,000 of them. There's millions left in the wake because of all the customers. I promise you, when we work together and we build that community, it's going to make all of our resumes look better and better and better as we work together. Because in the old warfare, you strictly won by numbers. Not always, right? Before maneuvers and tactics and all those things. Now we got to do good work. But that's why I don't let you get into this and start until I know you're not a dumbass. So that's where you get the partner learning camp. You get those accreditations, and you study, specify where, and by that time you'll also know kind of where you want to go in your job, what you enjoy doing. Maybe you'll already know. And then how do you get experience is when you're in that, I'm going to teach you how to be an apprentice, how to do the things that we did to meet customers through the trailhead, through LinkedIn, through networking events, through user groups, all the things you got to do to network to get your job. There's 3 programs that I'm going to teach you how to do in networking. And it's built by a guy named Chet Holmes, who got it from Charlie Munger maybe, or who knows who gave credit. But I promise you, I'm not just making this shit up. I'm following the guidelines of the ultimate sales machine. And in here, he describes having a dream 100. And that could be 50, it could be 300. It's a targeted list of people that you're going to work over and over and over again until you become known with them and they become known with you. And you keep adding value until the dollars exchange. And you should 3 of those lists. You're going to build a network of people that are Salesforce experts. Whether they work in a partnership, whether they work at Salesforce, or they work independently, they're all our community. Your Salesforce Saturday, your Military Dreaming, Salesforce Military, Marivis, all those things are places you're going to meet people. You got to build that network, develop those relationships so that people need help. You can get paid helping them. Some work will come through us, but some work will come through your own networking. And I just want to help, I'll give you a platform, a CRM, where you can manage all that, and it's templated, so it's going to help you do all those things. And all of that goes on your resume as your job working with sales and technology consultants. So the longer, so those of you that are not like Ebony, moving 3 weeks per cert, but the longer you're with us, the longer you have this persistent job that's going to look better on the resume. And there's going to be more than just me giving you a reference from our community. You could give references from sales and technology of coworkers, right? Customers, 5-star reviews to build your reputation. That's going to set you above the rest. That's the vision of what the ACE Academy is. It's not just another training program. Can y'all see that? Training programs are for the training company. This whole platform is for everybody. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. It's a game changer. This is a game. I know that people do similar things, but they're not doing it with me. They didn't come from a background of breaking the 4-minute mile. It's training, it's mentorship, it's hands-on experience, it's coaching. It's you doing the trainings, you doing the mentoring, it's you helping others, not just being helped. I don't need a bunch of weak people who need help. Do you? You want strong people bringing their strengths to your weakness so you can bring your strengths to theirs. Is that not the way high-performing teams work? Yeah, there'll be a few superstars. There'll be a few people who make $250,000 a year after just 4 years. Really 3, 2.5 maybe. I think it was up to it 2.5. But look, these are bonuses, right? You got a gamified community that measures the feedback that you're getting from the community. I got all the study guides, practice exams for actually 13 study guides for 18, and practice exams for, I think, 12 or 13 exams. So you got more to go than just the 5. The 5 is the minimum. But then we're going to work on real world projects. Projects you bring, projects someone else brings. You can just be in the party while we solve the problems. That's going to be like when Delta Airlines hires a pilot. They require 5,000 hours logged by a civilian pilot in order to be considered. Maybe the number's different. Just trust me on this. But they only require 2,500 hours of a military pilot. Why? Are military planes that much more sophisticated? Yeah, not necessarily. That was the P3. I mean, there's no. Some of them are. Ask a fighter pilot, they'll tell you it is. But, not all pilots in the military are fighter pilots. However, if you're in a room of 500 people and only one of them's a pilot, how do you know if you met the pilot? They told you. All pilots will tell you they're a pilot. That's the only thing about pilots is that if you know a pilot, you know a pilot because they told you. The point is that I lost my point in the joke. This is a different community. This is not the same. The point is the reason a military pilot doesn't need to show as many hours is because they trust someone else documents the hours for the pilot. A private pilot documents their own hours. Which one's got more credibility? We're going to log your hours in these programs. Now, I ain't got it worked out yet, but between all of us, right? We'll get that mechanism working as we get it going. But imagine being able to go to employers and say, these are all my verified hours that I actually worked on a project. Not just some BS I put on a resume. Again, we're resume bullshit busters. We want to go into resumes and blow the mind of the person and say, oh, shit. The largest partner that Salesforce has is documenting people's experience and their hours and their credibility and have reviews and portfolios, and I can tell that they did the work. Oh, yeah, I definitely want to interview them before somebody else who just says they got 48 badges on a trail or 48 certifications. Who cares if they even took them or not? Who knows? So this is different. So what do you do next? Well, if you join today, it's $19 a month. Isn't that ridiculous? That's what it is right now. And you guys are already in the founders, right? You two are founders. Pamela was the first founder. But the price is, and because I don't think I have enough members to kind of but the price is going to 19 a month as soon as I figure out when this video goes out, then that explains it. Because we're already beyond the point of scaling, right? We're going to keep, as we scale, the price goes up because there's more value to the community. There's more traction to make. There's more engagement that other people will be able to schedule and make. There's only, I just upped it this week to 4 live sessions a week for me. But other experts are going to hold their own classes because they rated, I trust them, and they're going to want to contribute. They're going to hold their own labs, right? You're going to be able to create and support people and provide feedback. So there'll be more value being created because you can bring all the cheese doodles you need to this community and have a great party. And all of it's going to be documented as you complete things and as you do things. I don't know. We're going to figure it all out. There's a couple webhooks we can do things with. So what's the risk? No risk. Take the 7-day free trial because that's what the platform allows. And if you don't see the value at 10 times the price, even when it goes to $195 a month, just cancel. If you don't get the value in the first 7 days, I failed. If you don't even have to cancel. You can just hit me up, schedule a one-on-one, and I'll figure out I think I can do it. Pamela, you can help me. I haven't tried to do it yet. because nobody's paying yet. Like, I think I can even make it free for you. If you don't get the value, I'll make it free. How about that? So screw you, and then you could get the value. If you're cheap, be cheap, but contribute. Because enough people are going to see the value in this, know that this is not just another training program. And it's designed, my intention for the design is that you're going to have, even at $195 a month, that you're going to have way more, 10 times more value than that you could get anywhere else. And we're not there yet. We got to build to that, but that's my vision for it. So if you're ready to finally take control of your career, your income, and your impact, then just join. Just join and engage and get off of level 1, get to level 2, and then start making posts and start contributing. And then join the learning labs, join the live sessions. I don't care what you ask about. I care that you ask and you receive. And you give that back to the next person when they ask. That's it. Any questions, comments, concerns?